Never know if it's a lot. All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome. My name is Michael Bunker. I'm going to be your host for the morning. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Those of you who are here early, if you can type into the comment section something so I know you're out there and I know you can hear me. And when you come in, say hi. Let me know where you're watching from. Got a lot of things to talk about today. A lot of stuff going on. Definitely want to get to our main topic, which is 7 things you should be doing right now. And we'll get to that in just a minute, but I want to make sure everything's working good. Hello, Terry. So let me know if things are, if the audio and video is working. I'm doing this on my laptop. It is, despite what you see coming in the windows, it is dreary and overcast and wet, and it's been misty raining since I got up at 2:30 this morning. I usually get up at 3:30, but I woke up at 2:30 and you're just not going to go right back to sleep. Hey, man, a lot of people here. Thank you guys. Appreciate everything's looking good. So if you have questions or comments, go ahead and think about them and put them into the comment section, or you can wait, but don't wait too long because I have a tendency to jump off of here if I don't think anybody's paying attention. I'd like you to do one more thing before we get started. Please, 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 hit the thumbs up on this video. Just do it because the YouTube algorithm is such that they don't recommend it unless a bunch of people hello Linda, hello Terry, hello Rob, hello Prepared Homestead, hello Terry. They don't recommend it unless you recommend it. And so if you like it, that surely helps. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe and hit the little bell icon so you get notifications when I go live, like right now. All right, so this morning we're going to be talking about an article that I wrote for a shooting magazine, which seems like a strange marriage or relationship. Hello, Riverstick 88. I'm not going to shout at everybody as they come in, but hello as you come in, and please type into the comment section and let me know you're out there, where you are. But so I got contacted a week or two ago by Rob Reeser, who is the editor of shutdowns.com magazine, which is shooting magazine. Now, I have guns. I like guns. I'm not an anti-gun person. In fact, I'm a real Second Amendment person. But their particular deal was that there's this phenomenon that's going on that a lot of people who have typically been anti-gun or not comfortable with guns or whatever have been rushing out and buying guns. Just a lot of weird stuff going on. The other day I was in a store and got talking to a lady, and she runs a liquor store, and her sister runs a gun store. And she said that they had been talking a lot, and the liquor stores and the gun stores were just like slammed busy. All that is just to say that Rob wanted to start a series on the magazine East of Waco. Awesome. Hello, Dana. Hello, Brett. And want to start a series for people who are not particularly gun culture people who may be new to the whole idea of guns. And he wanted to do articles that were not particularly gun-centric. And so because of what's going on, he wanted me to write an article about what somebody with my experience is doing right now. Now, I want to say what I've been saying in every video since this whole thing started, even before it started. I'm not a pandemic expert. I'm not a epidemiologist. I'm not a doctor. I do not comment on the coronavirus and how serious I think it is. I have a controlled enough ego, as 99.9% of the people do not, to say, I don't know. I'm not, we're surrounded by stupid people on both sides constantly in this political bifurcated society that know everything. They're automatically instant coronavirus experts. What I am an expert on is survival, preparedness, homesteading, and everything to do with staying alive. As much as, in fact, I've been throwing a no-hitter. I got like 1,000. I have not been alive yet. So that doesn't make you an expert. That's just a joke. But because I've been featured in dozens of large magazines, NPR, Aussie.com, Molly Green, tons of magazines, newspapers, books, wrote a national bestseller, Surviving Off-Grid. Rob asked me if, I'll get to your comment in just a minute. Rob asked me if I would write this article about what I think people should be doing right now. And because I'm kind of a counterculture guy, and because I generally have different advice and the whole crowd goes one way and I'm kind of going another way. So I wrote this article called 7 Things You Should Be Doing Right Now. And I'm not going to read the thing to you because you're adults, but I am going to link to, in fact, I've already linked to it in the description down below. Please go and hit that. Now, I want to explain something. They've been having a little bit of problem. I don't know if it's because this article has really been popular, maybe not. I think it really has been popular from the amount of contact I've gotten from people. But sometimes when you go to that article, it shows it's not there, or it can't bring it up or something, or you get a error message. Just refresh. It almost always comes up the second or third time you refresh. But definitely go read the article, because there's details in there that I may not get into here on the video. Rob says, I work part-time at a gun store in DFW. We were slammed for a couple of weeks, sold out on most major brands and calibers very quickly. Yeah, I was in the store the other day, and I just wanted to look what was there. I wasn't buying. I have enough ammo for whatever need, barter or whatever. But I just looked, and they had pretty much everything at the store I was in, but they did not have 9mm. There was no 9mm in the store. So read off grid in 2011. Excellent. Read it again. It's definitely a book you want to reread. And if a lot of people already reread it, and one of the other great things that's been going on with surviving off grid, not only is it's got newfound popularity, but people have been contacting me a lot and telling me that it saved their life. And I'm not going to take credit for saving anybody's life. If that happened, then God did it, not me. But I got an email maybe 2 days ago, and a guy was telling me I've saved his life twice. I'm not taking credit for either one of them, but one of them was when he got surviving off grid and moved his family off grid. And the second was when he is or has been overweight. And back in January, when I started my workout and fitness mission, he got motivated and started doing it too. So I've been hearing a lot of that. I tell you what, guys, remember that encouragement goes a long way, especially when someone's doing something for free. Like I'm doing, this is absolutely free. And it's been 2 or 3 full-time jobs. I've been going from 3:30 in the morning till 7:30 every single night, writing stuff, answering questions, answering emails, not blowing my own horn, but just a word of encouragement every once in a while sure does go a long, long way. So I want to get to the article, and I'm not going to read it, but I want to go through the 7 things you should be doing right now. If you just now tuned in, please hit the like button. That is so important right now, especially with most content creators, but with me in particular. We're at 3,200 watch hours, and we got to hit 4,000 to get the possibility of getting monetized and all that. And so that's important. Just hit the like button even while we're talking. You could do that. All right. So let me I'm going to read. So basically the article starts out and it goes through my background, my history, one of the reasons people might want to listen to me, which includes not only living off grid, but every year we would turn off everything, social media, everything. We already lived off grid. We already did not have electrical power except at my office. But for a month to 2 months, we started off doing it 1 month, then we went to 2 months. My whole family, we didn't go to the stores. We didn't prepare beforehand. We just tested ourselves to see if we could live a month or 2 months without going anywhere, without leaving the property. And we did that for a year, all the time my children were young. So that gives us an added understanding of running out of things, what things are important, what things are not important. All right, number 1. And if I was doing this professionally, I would have ping, it would show up here, ping, number 1. But I'm not doing this professionally. So number 1, build your immune system. Now, a lot of people are probably mouth drop. Why in the world, in a preparedness survival, we got to go out there and live against the zombie apocalypse, would your immune system be the number 1 thing of all the things I could think of? Build your immune system. Well, number 1, because there is a virus, and having a healthy immune system, even if it's not for the virus, even if it's for the flu or the cold or anything else that's going around, is critical. You do not want to go down when your family needs you. And so building your immune system is important. Now, people will immediately say, well, that would take a lifetime. That would take years. You got to build your immune system in years. That's not true. And I may spend a little bit of time on this one. you can actually start rebuilding and resetting your immune system in less than 24 hours. Fasting, which has become somewhat of a fad thing lately, but it's not a fad. It's been around for forever. In fact, it's one of the oldest survival techniques in history, and it's throughout the Bible from cover to cover. There's something that happens in the human body when you fast for more than 16 or so hours, 12 to 16 hours, that starts then, called autophagy. And autophagy is when your body enters into certain types of stress, and fasting is one of those. Your body cells change. And when, the best way to describe this, and I'm not a doctor, so I'm not going to get too sciencey, is your cells can lock down. And they can lock down and they don't let bad stuff in. And so the problem is, or the benefit is, that damaged cells cannot do that. And so, first of all, your body is stressed, so it's consuming a lot, and it's trying to consume proteins and all these things that are in your body, but it also will start to consume and get rid of unhealthy cells, broken mitochondria, all that kind of stuff. Look up autophagy. I'm going to do there's a link underneath the Thomas DeLauer. Click that link when you get time. Don't do it now. And then go look up autophagy. But it's one of the neatest things is that you can actually reset your immune system. And so, and that happens 12 to 16 hours of a fast. If you can go over 24 hours, that's great. I'm not recommending anybody go over 24 hours in a fast during this if you're not absolutely quarantined and absolutely not likely to come into contact with COVID. If you are not, then just 24 hours. You could do a 23-1 where you fast for 23 hours and then you eat for in the 24th hour. But to go more than 24 right now, if you're in a situation where you might have to go out into public or you might have to interact with somebody, can weaken you a little bit. And so I'm just, unless you're really, really good at it and been doing it for a long time, 16 to 20 hours is probably a good window. It is not hard. It is not impossible. You're not going to die at all. It would take weeks, and you will not die in a month if you don't eat. So most likely. So just 16 to 20 hours. If you get, and I'm not suggesting people do it, but just to finish the topic, if you can get 72 hours or more, you actually start to rebuild organs. Your organs will shrink as much as 30%, and then they will begin to rebuild with healthy cells. And so it's great for your immunity. Build your immune system. Some of the great supplements you might consider taking: magnesium, zinc, vitamin C, and vitamin D. If you have those things available, those things are great to have. Look up Thomas DeLauer. There's a link in the description. He's excellent on the topic. Don't listen to people. There's another guy who I used to listen to all the time, used to watch. I'm not going to say his name, but he's a lifting, exercise, science guru. And I just watched a video he did where he was trying to debunk a bunch of stuff, but he was using really, really classic, sophistical word tricks. And so one of the things he did is he's like, you can't boost your immune system. That was his premise. And then he redefined boost so that he said, well, people hear the word boost and they think it's like building a muscle. And then he went through and then actually defeated his own argument later on when he showed scientific studies that showed that these supplements do, in fact, support the immune system. The word support and the word boost in this content are the same word. They're the same word. He just redefined one word at the beginning so that he could be the expert to sit there and say, don't supplement. Don't listen to those people. All right. So build your immune system. Start today. The side effects of this is that you're going to lose weight. You're going to feel better. You're going to have more energy. You're going to have more mental clarity, and things are going to get better for you. Walk, all of that stuff. All exercise builds your immunity. One of the things you need to realize is obesity, and most Americans are obese, is a cofactor in a lot of these COVID cases because of hypertension, diabetes, and all those type of things. All right, so number 2, and I'm going to recall it before I pull it up, is number 2. And so that would go bing. If this was a professional YouTube page, you go bing. Plant something. You need to plant something. You need to begin to think in the terms of production. And if you watch me for very long, you already know that. And one of the first things you need to plant is your finger on the like button, because I need as many likes as I can on this video so that YouTube will recommend it to other people. But other than that, plant something. And I talk about this in the article, the cacophony of herbobots who are saying, I have an HOA and they don't let us have gardens. Container pots in the backyard, just plant something. You need to plant things so that you have food. People think that you don't have time to have a garden. This thing is going to last way longer than you think it's going to last. If you're listening to the mainstream media, and I don't, or you're listening to anybody else, and they're telling you this thing's going to be over in 8 to 12 weeks, it's not going to happen. You will have a garden if you plant it now before things get as bad as they're going to. And you could have greens, and you could have kale, and you could have highly nutrient rich and dense foods, green beans, etc. Within just a couple weeks, you could be eating them. Squash. So one of the things I want to do, and I have a link in the description, just because this is something that I did. Now, I ordered these in February because I saw this thing coming. Now, I have seeds stored, seeds from stuff we've grown, seeds that people have sent me, packages of seeds that we didn't use before. But I saw this thing coming, and I didn't want to gamble, because it was still winter, that those seeds were all going to be good, and I didn't want to be without. So I got on Amazon and I ordered this. It's going to be backwards because of the way things are probably for you. 40 heirloom vegetable. There is a link in the description. By the way, all of the things that I tell you, there's a link in the description other than other people's YouTube pages and whatnot. Those are Amazon Associates links. It doesn't cost you a penny more, but if you go there and you buy it, I get a couple of pennies or something like that. Anyways, this is a pure pollinated garden seeds. There's 40 different heirloom varieties. It comes in this sealed packet. They're absolutely have every reason to make sure that these are checked and that they're high quality and that they're going to sprout and all that kind of stuff. And these things are still available as far as I know. So, but here's the thing. When I tell you to do this stuff, you got to do it. Don't do it during this video unless you're going to click on that link. But after this video is over, click on that link. Just a couple of videos ago, I blew everybody's mind, and I'm going to do it again today, saying that one of the top 3 things you could buy right now when you go to the store is lard. And I put a link to lard on Amazon. They sold out. And I know a lot of you bought it because I got the Amazon Associates thing. And so they sold out. So if you're going to want lard, I'll tell you in a minute, you're going to have to go to the store and get it. There's maybe still some available, different types on Amazon. Anyways, you're going to want to get these if you don't already have seeds. You might be able to go to your Home Depot or whatever, depending on what's going on in your area, and get live plants and all that kind of stuff. But a lot of you are kind of locked in. You can do this in an apartment. You can do it if you have a grow light. You can do it in a backyard in pots. And if you put in a garden, plant something, because the first thing it does is it puts you in the mentality of a producer. Most of you, your whole life, have been consumers. And because of that, you are dependent wholly and completely on somebody else to provide every element of life and living for you. And this is the one thing that's going to switch that on. Secondly, when I tell you the things I think you should buy, those things are going to go well with the vegetables that you're about to grow. All right. Terry Dunlap says, great article. I've had several friends that I thought would never read it have told me how good the article is, especially because it doesn't have a political spin. That's right. The prepared homestead, the best time to build your immune system was 20 years ago. The next best time is right now. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Hello, Pat. If you're here and you just got here, say hi. Just type in hello or something, or wherever you are in the comment section. And if you're here, hit the like button. Help me out because I'm not getting paid. That's my salary. And subscribe as well. All right, we're going to go on to number 3. Good morning, Nathan. Number 3. Things you should buy. Now, most people who know me, and if you've been following me for very long, and if you read my book, Surviving Off Grid, link in the description, you need to realize that I'm not a gear and gadget guy. I'm not a go out and buy stuff kind of guy. I've been teaching people for 20 years that they should be producing things, that they should be learning how to do things with their hands, bushcrafting, all this kind of stuff. And so it's not that I don't buy things or I don't think you should buy things, but it's not my first instinct to go out and buy things. And so when I was talking about this with Rob, who's the editor for shutdowns.com, I was basically saying, okay, what I want to do is be able to make recommendations that I think people can do right now. And so I can't go back in time and have you do a bunch of stuff you could have done years ago. But I'm going to give you 7 suggestions. And if you will do these 7 things, if you'll go to the article when we're done and print it out and do these 7 things, I believe, not scientific, that each one of those things is going to increase your survivability and sustainability by 10%. By 10%, if you do the things that I'm asking you to do. So, number 3, things you should buy. There are so many things you could buy, and people, when they had the instinct of running to the store, they bought things that are not critical to their survival. They bought toilet paper, they bought milk, they bought bread, they bought empty calories, and stocked up on a lot of stuff that they didn't need, and left a lot of really, really good, important survival stuff. Now, those of you who have watched me for a while, you know that I consider the only real survival show that's ever been on TV is Alone, which is a History Channel show, and I recommend people watch it. If you've watched all of the seasons, you know that there's a pattern. 90% of the people drop out in the first 10 to 20 days. The whole premise of Alone is that you are dropped off with 10 items and in the wilderness, and you have to survive alone. Whoever stays out there the longest wins $500,000. And so if you've watched the show and you've studied it like I have, you'll realize that 90% of the people drop out in the first 10 to 30 days, either injury, they just can't take the being alone. They're afraid of animals. They get hungry. Most of the time their psychology is not built for it, and they miss their children, and they think that they made a mistake, and they tap out. Of the 10% that are left, a lot of those go a lot of days, 30, 40, sometimes 50 days. And you see them drop out generally for some of the same reasons. You see more of them drop out for loneliness reasons, or because they say it's not worth it, or something like that. A lot of them drop out just because they cannot get enough food at all. But even the ones that do get food come to realize very soon that they do not have enough fat. So I'm going to tell you 3 things that I think you should be buying, and I want you to write them down, and I want you to take them to heart, because you may not have a whole lot of time. The number 1 thing that anybody and everybody should buy is salt, and you should buy a lot of it. And by a lot, I mean a lot of it. Like if you could have a bunch of 5-gallon buckets of it. And the reason why you need salt is because it has intrinsic value like gold. It is tradable, barterable. It has always been money until we created this ubiquitous just-in-time world trading society. So for a small window of time, it has not really been barterable or tradable. But at anytime there's ever been any type of systemic collapse in any country, salt has become massively valuable. You need it to survive. You need it to preserve food. The example of the guy, the idiot, I don't even want to say his name. He went up into Alaska because he wanted to experience whatever, not being a spoiled rich kid. And he got a moose, and then he starved to death. Wasn't able to preserve the meat on the moose, didn't have enough skills, didn't know what he was doing, and ended up starving to death. Salt is critical. You should get a lot of it. I have no problem with you getting it at the grocery store. If you can. Yeah. Jericho also. Thank you, Nathan. One of the best post-apocalyptic shows ever. Our favorite. Our family watches it every year. But you'll realize that it all comes down to who has the salt mine. The whole show. I hate spoiler alert. Watch that series, man. There's some great stuff. And the people who were writing that series did a lot of research. And so salt is critical. Salt is important. Salt will keep you alive. Salt will allow you to buy other stuff. And so a friend could say, hey, they closed the stores. We're not allowed to travel anymore. And I can't get feed, and I can't keep my pigs alive. I got to butcher them right now. If you were able to provide salt, you probably get a whole bunch of meat for free. So salt is critical. And I don't mind you going to the grocery store, get iodized and non-iodized, get sea salt if you can get it. There's also a website called seasalt.com. You can check them out. But get salt, get a lot of it. Go out, get some order through Amazon some 5-gallon buckets, and label on them what's in there. Salt does not go bad. Even if it crusts up and it gets solid, salt is a preserve. It's a universal preservative, so it's not going to go bad. All right. So the second thing is lard, which I mentioned. Most of the people who end up leaving the show on alone is because they don't have enough fat. And you can eat a lot. You can eat a lot of stuff in the wild and still be basically starving to death. Our bodies need fat. Our brains need fat for you to continue to think clearly. Lard is one of the best, or tallow, or the best ways to store fat. You can still get lard in the stores. You can still get it online. You buy a lot of it. So when the day comes and all you can get is rabbits, people may not know about rabbit starvation, but look it up. You can eat nothing but rabbits and still be so malnourished that you can't go on. And that's called rabbit starvation. And you don't want to be eating in Texas. You don't want to be eating rabbits in the summer anyway, because you're probably going to die from eating them. You don't eat them after, late spring. But if all you can do is get a deer, not enough fat on it. If all you can do is get, squirrels and all that stuff. Hello, Miami. Anyways, so what you want to do is get lard or get tallow and get a lot of it. And if you have to cook something up, cook it in spoonfuls of it. Make sure you get that grease. It's not grease, it's fat, and you need fat to live. All right. So the number 3 item is meat, but I'm not asking you to run out and buy fresh meat unless you have a way to preserve it. Now, there are a lot of videos out there, a lot of videos on my site about how to preserve meat. Meat can be salted, meat can be canned. We can almost all of ours when we butcher. We try to eat as much of it fresh as we can. I'm not asking you to run out and buy a bunch of meat, drive up the prices, and strip the store of meat. But there is tons of meat in that store that nobody is buying. Canned meat, tuna, sardines, which are high in omega-3s and high in fat. Normally, I would tell you to get tuna that is stored that is canned in water. But if you can get it in olive oil or a good fat, then get that. I was at the store the other day, got a bunch of tuna for $1.09 a tin. One of those will keep you alive. One of those a day for your family. All right. Mackerel, salmon, Spam, anything basically. And then, and these things are shelf stable. Smoked sausage. I've held these up a lot. This is Prasex. And I think you can order these online, but Prasex, smoked pork and beef sausage, dried, smoked, shelf stable. Very, very good. All right. Let me look here real quick. Is lard Crisco shortening? No. Don't. No, Crisco is vegetable oil. It is a fat, but I would not recommend it. You want lard, lard is actually pig fat. You want lard or tallow. Hello, Sanrico. If you don't eat animal fat, not much I can do for you, but you can get a bunch of olive oil and drink it. Take shots of it every day. Keep your strength up, keep you mentally sharp. It's good for you. All right. So South Africa's in the house. All right. Everybody say hi when you come in here. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. So that was number 3, which is salt, lard, and meat. Dried, canned, shelf stable, highly nutritious. And here's the thing. People think, well, you're going to get scurvy. No, you're not. And you already planted your garden. You already got some things that are growing that are going to give you all the other minerals and stuff that you need. All right. Get some vitamin C supplements. Order a bunch of them right now. If you get into the store, buy some vitamin C supplements, which I already talked to you about. But if you'll do this, there are people that have survived for long, long periods of time with fat and meat and dried or cured meat. Years and years and years and years and years. I'm not recommending it because especially right now, but the carnivore diet works and those people don't end up with scurvy. All right. Hello, Tucson, Arizona. All right. Great to have y'all here. So we're going to go down to, I think we're on number 4. I got to pull it back up because I let it expire. Number 4, ignore any things that are coming. This is one thing I talked about early on this show and nobody does it. And this is one of the things that could save you and your family if things get worse, and I believe they will get worse. And that is meet a farmer, not the industrial farmer down the road that's got 5,000 acres of cotton. I'm talking about a small scale sustenance or a homesteader farmer. You can find these guys if you've ever been to a farmer's market. Call your local town or city that has one of those. Find out whoever the director is of the farmer's market and try to get a list of people that you can contact. The grocery store in a small town near us has a bulletin board. There are people on there that are selling things like hens and eggs and whatnot. You can contact those people. You can talk to the guy who manages the grocery store. He may deal with some small local farmers. I'm not asking you to harass people or drive out to their house uninvited, but if you can contact them, most of them are on Facebook or social media. Some of them have farm sites or pages. You can also get on Facebook and just do a search for small homesteads, homesteading sites, join homesteading groups, and find some homesteader near you. I'll get to the organ meats. I forgot about that. But anyways, I just want to tell everybody, and I'm not getting on to you. This is not an inclusive list. I'm not telling everybody everything you ought to get. So every one of you is thinking of something you would put on your list. I'm not going to go down there and just go, oh yeah, and this and this. I had to come up with 7 things and try to keep it underneath a certain amount of words. So yes, organ meats are great. Liver, but unless you can get organ meats that are canned or dried, I didn't want to put that in this article. All right, or shelf stable. So I'm not asking people to go out and buy fresh meat right now. All right, so meet a farmer. I'm not asking you to go out and harass them. I'm not asking you to show up at their place uninvited. I'm asking you to contact them and ask them how you can help them. Because right now you may have enough stuff. Right now you feel good. Right now the government and every idiot online is telling you this thing's going to pass and just stay the edgy home, because that's what's going to beat this thing. I don't know, because I'm not an expert on the coronavirus. What I know is human nature. And my belief is that things are going to get worse long before they get better. And we could see a resurgence of this thing, even if everything goes back to, it's never going back to normal, to some sense of normal. We could see a resurgence of this thing in the fall. And what are you going to do in the fall when you think you're past all of this and you and it gets worse, and there's no eggs, there's no meat, there's nothing in the store. They tell you can only go to the store on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and there's nothing there. Or it's too dangerous to go out because of marauders and rioters and whatever else. If you have to button down with what you have, wouldn't it be good to have already built a relationship with somebody like me? Now, I live about 6 miles from the nearest town, 12 miles from the nearest town that's of any size, and 24 miles from a moderately small city. Wouldn't it be great if somebody wanted to help me right now? They don't, but I'll tell you how you can. But nobody thinks about that, and people don't want to do it. But contact a farmer. You're about to get a stimulus check. See if they need some money. See if you can just hey, here's a down payment in case I ever need help. Just want to help you out. I want you to be doing what you're doing. I want you to be able to make it. I don't want you to have to shut your doors and move into a town. So here's some money. And, come fall, when you can't get anything, and that farmer is having to do triage to who he's going to help, because people are showing up. Who's he going to help? It's just the world calls this networking, right? Well, this is networking. It's farm working. It's one of the best things you could possibly do. And I can tell you what, the farmers would love to hear from you. Maybe you can go out there, wear your mask, spend a day helping in the garden. Maybe you can go out there, if he'll let you or she'll let you, and go out there and do some work, help put up a fence, right? Maybe they can multiply right now in the spring. They can multiply their crop so that they have enough to help feed you come fall. I said, every one of these things I'm going to name off, if you would do each one of them, you're going to increase your survivability by about 10%. All right. So that was number 4, meet a farmer. Number 5, turn off Netflix, turn off the Tiger King, and turn on YouTube. Apparently right now, some of you are doing it, and that's great, but I can tell you what, almost nobody's watching me, and I probably have more information and help and have lived through more of what we're doing right now, which is social distancing, quarantine, living off the land, what to do, how to think, and all of that. But I was watching, I've mentioned him several times, and I recommend him highly, Thomas DeLauer the other day. He did a live, and he was talking about diets and keto and whatnot. He had 890 people on here live, and I'm looking right now, and we got 19. Speaking of 19, if you would hit the like button right now, it surely would help. I'm encouraging everyone to do that because I would appreciate it. So, but the point is that people are going to be watching the Tiger King. The people who later on are going to be the zombies in the streets that are trying to rob people, or that are begging or asking the government to send in the troops, or who are screaming because somebody else isn't taking care of them, are watching the Tiger King. You need to be watching the YouTube and figuring out stuff that you need to do. And what I recommend you do is learn a skill every day and learn how to do it. So there are videos for everything. If you don't know how to can food in mason jars, watch a video. It'll tell you what stuff you need to get. It'll tell you that you can then go out and buy hams and turkeys and stuff that nobody's buying, and how to can that food and how to store it. You can learn how to do cordage. You can learn how to use a knife properly for making things, how to baton wood, how to just every day sit down with your family and watch a video, and then go out in your backyard and learn how to do this stuff, how to start a fire. There's people that are out there, that's all they've done for 15 years is put up YouTube videos on how to do stuff, and it's all free. So long as YouTube's still up, then you should be able to do it. Yeah, Dana, that's generally the way it goes. People want stuff for free, but they won't give me a like. Even though a like is free. I asked my local poultry farms if they would work a deal where I pay them monthly to house chickens that I would own, like people do at stables of the horse and all. They all thought I was nuts. I'm not sure that I would even do that. I'm just saying it may not be a good deal for them. You need to kind of think of it. It depends on how much you wanted to pay monthly. I would probably do something like that, but we'd have to look into the details. I think it'd be more likely if you asked her if you could go out there and help without a quid pro quo, because they may not be thinking about that yet, and just build a relationship so that when the time comes that you do need help, they feel comfortable with you and they feel like you're somebody that helped them. But I'm not sure if I think I would do that. If I'm not a poultry farm. Poultry farms are industrial consumer oriented. You want a small scale sustenance farm. Those people are going to be way more likely to do it than somebody who's got 50, 60, 70,000 birds. I keep sharing your videos and recommending your YouTube and Facebook platforms, but I have not yet even gotten a like. It has been discouraging, but I will keep doing it as I continue to learn. Yeah, here's one of the things about that. Nobody listens to you for 20 years, and then you end up being right. And I've been right a lot over the last 20 years. And then they don't listen to you after that because they think that now they already know. And so it's the same people. And I told you I ordered these garden seeds way back in February. The same people who are making fun of people for taking this seriously, not about the coronavirus, about what was going to happen with the government and people's reaction to it. Those same people a week later were crying and moaning about other people going out and buying toilet paper. Those people were online crying and moaning because they had a friend. It's always a friend who wasn't able to get diapers. And how dare people be so selfish, even though we'd known about this thing for months. Those are the same people who are now, because they have resources, begging everybody else not to do anything and just to listen to the government and do whatever you're told. And these are the same people that are now going to be calling the local police and reporting you and snitching because you're doing something that they never would have thought of to do because they're cowards and they're lazy. These are all the same people. And a lot of those people are not going to pay any attention to anybody that's saying anything other than you're going to be all right because of normalcy bias. Watch my video on normalcy bias. At the same time, there are a lot of people that are awake now. There's a lot of people that are paying attention, and there's a lot of people that we can reach. And there's only reason I'm doing this right now is because I believe that it's going to save people's lives. I believe it's very, very likely, according to the government's own numbers, that in the next 2 months, 100,000 to 200,000 people who could have watched this video, who might have watched it, are going to be dead. 200,000 people. Could be a lot more. Could be less. I don't know. I'm not an expert on any of that stuff. But I believe that we can save some of those people. I believe it's possible. God can do it through wisdom and understanding and things that He's taught us. All right, so that's where we are. Let's move on. I think number 5, make use of YouTube. As long as the internet's up, and it could go down. I did a video on why it could go down. You want to make use of that. Turn off that Netflix. Turn off that other stuff. Take this thing seriously and learn something. All right. Number 6, the bunker principle. All right. What you need to do is, and I have linked it down in the description. Don't watch it right now. Watch it after I'm done here. The bunker principle is basically this. You should have 3 categories of ways to do everything that is mission critical, everything that's important, even things that you consider to be luxuries, but you want in your life. You should have 3 categories of ways to do it. And I say categories because you may have more. I have more than 3 ways, but I have 3 categories. Number 1 is that you need to recognize the on-grid way. So the on-grid way to do something. I used as an example in the article, making coffee. Coffee is not a mission critical, but it could be for you. Maybe you like coffee. And so this is how it started for me. This is how it started for me in 1997, right? How would I make coffee if the power went out for a long period of time? Well, I had an electric stove. Electric stove is number 1, but the electric stove didn't work. And so what is the first category is the on-grid way. The second category is the off-grid way. Off-grid way just means that you've provided another way to do it that isn't sustainable, but it will allow you to do it if the system of on-grid goods and services goes down. So an off-grid way to make your coffee is to use a propane stove, to use your grill out in your backyard, or to use maybe a camping grill or a camping oven, right? So that's off-grid. If it's propane, you're not going to be able to do it forever, but it will keep you going for a while you figure things out. The third way, or the third category, is the beyond off-grid way, which is the way it's been done for thousands of years before we ever had grid services. And that could be starting a small fire, using your fireplace, learning how to cook there. And I'm talking about practicing it and doing it. It could be digging a small hole that big in your backyard, building a tiny fire, getting the coals, and putting your coffee pot. Oh, you don't have a coffee pot that you can actually put on the fire because you're doing everything through your espresso machine? Get yourself a coffee. See, if you use the bunker principle, everything that you need, you will find out. All right. And so coffee is just one thing, and I use it because people like it. But you need to think about toilets. You need to think about water. You need to think about heat, all of those things, which we're going to get to in number 7. But you can learn the bunker principle very simply. Anything that you do, as you go through your day, go, is this thing something that I want to be able to continue to do, or do I need to continue to do it? And if I need to continue to do it, how will I do this? Have your 3 categories written down. What is the on-grid way to do it? What is the off-grid way to do it? And what is the beyond off-grid way to do it? Learn how to do it the beyond off-grid way. Get good at it. Practice it. Take a week while you're out here, while you're in quarantine, whatever, and learn how to make coffee if you don't have power, you don't have propane and all that kind of stuff. And so a lot of different ways to do that stuff. And there's a lot of videos out there, and watch my bunker principle, which is linked in the description below. All right. I watch all your videos. This is the first time I'm always in the garden. I'm glad you caught me live. Download videos and print books. Absolutely. Coffee mission critical. I'm with you. One of the things I buy when I do go into town, if you know what I mean, I actually ordered some on Amazon in February, some bulk coffee. Went out yesterday and bought extra hand tools. Hand tools, fantastic. When my wife asked why, I simply replied bunker principle. That is fantastic, and it's totally true. Hand tools are going to be not only super valuable, but to be able to do to be able to do stuff. Now, I did a video where I talked about the preparedness library I wanted you to get. Go to that video, and there's a list of books, and those books are critical to have in print form. You don't have to know everything right now, but you need to have how to do everything in your house. So when things do, or if things go down, you'll have them. Tools that make tools is exactly right. You need to learn bushcrafting. Bushcrafting, there are tons of videos. One of the guys I recommend is Coalcracker Bushcraft. Definitely watch the Townsend's, and he's huge. Videos on cooking, which is 18th century cooking and all that kind of stuff. But he's got videos on just how people did stuff back then. All right. So that is the big one here, which is the bunker principle. Number 7, cover your bases. This one you're going to want to print out in the article, and you want to actually think, because thinking, Dave Canterbury is good. There's a lot of them out there that are really good. All right, cover your bases. I said, look at this list: water, food, shelter, heat, and light. Not particularly in that order, although I think water is number 1. Now take that list and apply the bunker principle. Water. How do you get water now? You get it through your pipes. It's provided by somebody else. You don't think about it. You just flip that handle, and it doesn't for me, but for you guys, it comes on. It's purified by, and it's not purified, but it's cleaned by someone else. It's made potable by someone else. That's your on-grid way. What's your off-grid way? How are you going to get water? How are you going to purify it? You need to get yourself a water purifier. Pure Pitchers work. British Berkefeld, Big Berkey, even better. I've showed before, and I put it in the link below here. If you can get a gravity 5 or 10 liter gravity purifier bag, there's a link in the description. Those things are fantastic. Don't be thinking about tablets and stuff like that. You need to use filtration, and you need to be able to do it quickly, and you need to be able to do a lot of water. Where are you going to get the water from? If you live in town, if you live in a suburb or whatever, you need to figure out right now how to catch water off your roof, because it's going to rain, and you need to be able to catch that water. If they say it's illegal right now, they don't have anybody that's going to be coming to your house and saying, oh, you're catching water in the backyard. Just do it. Apologize for it later. Pay the fine, whatever it is. You need to be catching water. When I was in Perth, Australia in 2002, I learned that Perth was a city of 2-some million people. Everybody has a huge water tank and catches water off the roof. We should be doing that in this country. I don't know why we're not. The Daily Quail says, I get green coffee on Amazon. Excellent idea. Stores better up to 5 years. Ethiopian Yoga Chef is the best. Roast my own beans. Very easy to do, right? And a lot of that stuff's available because nobody's thinking about it right now. You know, we make mesquite coffee from mesquite beans from here off the land. Hope we get a really, really good crop this year. But right now, while it's available, store some up. You know, it makes a great barter item. You can't have too much. Nancy says, I have 2 treadle sewing machines. Excellent. One works and the other one needs fixing. Ordered my life straw yesterday. Life straws are important. That's a good, talking about water purification. So anyways, we're going down this list. Yeah, rain barrels, critical, just so important. And so going down your list, you got water, heat, light, shelter. You know, what are you going to do if somebody in your house, let's say you got 6 people in your house and somebody starts getting sick, and they might have, maybe it's you, maybe you're the one that's been going to the grocery store, start feeling sick. You need to separate yourself. You need to quarantine, right? But where are you going to go? What you need, and just this idea, just have a room in the house when they find out this thing is actually could be airborne. Why don't you have a tent ready to go? I'm going to do a backpack video here pretty soon. Go live out in your backyard for 14 days. You know, would you do that to save your family? That's just one example, but you need the ability to be able to create shelter in case you cannot stay in your house for some reason, whatever that reason is. I'm not a big proponent of bugging out, but if you have to, and I'm going to do a video on that very soon, then that's a great idea. But go through this list. So let me recap for you. You need to go, when I get done here, you need to go to shutdowns.com. There's a link below, shoot-on.com. All right. And it's featured there. If for some reason the article doesn't come up or the page doesn't come up because they're getting hammered right now, just refresh and it'll come up within 2 or 3 times, right? If you're out there right now, please hit the like button. Just please. And if you're watching this later, hit the like button. The more people that like this video, the more YouTube is going to recommend it. It helps the algorithm. Also subscribe. There's no reason not to subscribe. Hit the little bell icon after you subscribe, and it's going to ask you, and you just click all because you want to get all the notifications. And then when I do a video like this, sometimes it's critical. Let me tell you something. I've been way, way, way ahead of the curve, and I don't mean to blow my own horn, but I was calling for that there was going to be a black market. I was talking about them closing down the highways and stopping people from traveling before even March 12th. There's videos out there where I'm talking about this stuff. I've been talking about this stuff for years. And also, like the other day, I did a whole video talking about lard. And then the link that I put up there for people to go get it, you can't get it there anymore. So you want to get these videos and you want to be alerted when they come out. All right. Let me see what we got here. I read the article from Business Insider. It was very informative. Yes, the article on the blue shop towels as a mask. Shotgun adapters, short lane firearms. That's a bunch of words. I'm not exactly sure what you mean, Mike. It's free to hit the like button. It is free, and you should hit the like button, but you should also subscribe. And let me tell you how this works. I'm doing all this for free, and I'm working from 3:30 in the morning until 7:30 at night. I'm doing everything that I can to answer questions. People don't ask questions in the video, and then they message me afterwards, and then I have to do everything one-on-one. So it is a good idea to help me out if you can. Just like I was talking about Meet a Farmer, you can help me out. The second thing you can do is down in the description, there's a support Michael link. You can go to that link and you can support financially, because what it does is it's going to allow me to boost my ability to do this. There's some equipment I could get that surely would help me out. Right now I'm running the power that's running everything off my car because there's not enough. It looks bright out, but it's not. It's very overcast and there's no sun, and I didn't have enough power. I used my Yeti 150 Goal Zero. I did a video on that yesterday. This morning, I used it to do some stuff online, and I used the battery all up, so I'm hooked up to the car to run this right now. I would like to get a Yeti Goal Zero 400. That would allow me to go a whole day and not have to worry about whether I have power. There's some other things that I could get that would sure help me continue to make these videos and to improve and to make recommendations for you guys. Nobody's, sponsoring me. I'm not getting paid by any of the people that I'm recommending. If you buy something from the list below, I get 50 cents or $1 or some amount of money, but it doesn't cost you anything. Yeah, those are all good ideas, Mike, but I'm not going through a whole list of everybody else's ideas, and I appreciate them, but gasification is great. I printed out a government document on it probably 10 years ago, and I have it here in case I have to build something at some point. But alternate power is not really my thing right now as far as building these systems. Those are long-term solutions, and I'm trying to give everybody gasifiers. Yeah, okay. So I'm trying to give everybody stuff they can go do right now that's going to help them survive. All right, guys. So if you have any questions, type them in, and I will do what I can to answer them. If not, if you're watching this afterwards and you didn't catch it live, like the video, subscribe, put a comment. I read the comments, and I will do what I can to help you, because that's what I'm here for. Harbor Freight $100 solar is down to 149. 100-watt solar. That's great. That's great. Yeah, I have one of those, but we don't use it right now just because I need some other stuff, and I'm just running everything out of the office right now. Thanks for what you're doing, Michael. I appreciate it. Doing all I can. So y'all get the word out there, share this, post it on social media, get it out there. We want to save people's lives. And if they watch this and they do what I say, A lot of people's lives are going to get saved, and you can help them and you can participate. Hey guys, I appreciate you guys tuning in. I got to go. I got to do some work. Lord willing, I'll continue to do these videos almost every day. I've been doing them almost every day. And sometimes I'm going to do 2 a day because I'm going to do some particular item videos that are short, like the one I did on the Goal Zero Yeti 150. All right, guys. Appreciate you guys. I will, Lord willing, be back soon, and then we'll do this again. Thank y'all.